Chapter 17, Shadows on the Road. The castle grounds were eerily silent as Elowen and Celine darted through the back corridors, their cloaks billowing behind them. "Faster," Celine hissed, "before they realise what happened." Elowen's chest burned from exertion, but she didn't slow. If they could just reach the gate, a faint glow of torchlight flickered ahead. Someone was already there. Her heart lurched. Had the guards caught on? But as they drew closer, she saw who was waiting. A tall, familiar figure leaned casually against the gate, arms crossed, golden eyes glinting in the dim light. "Lyra." "Took you long enough," the elf muttered, pushing off the wall. The guards stationed at the gate, unconscious, neatly slumped against the stone walls, breathing steadily as if they had simply decided to nap in full armour. Celine arched a brow. "Accident?" Lyra grinned. "You know me," Celine snorted, while Elowen exhaled in relief. "Did anyone see you?" Lyra tilted her head. "No one important." She waved a hand dismissively. "More importantly, we have a problem. The truth behind Elric's attack." As they mounted their waiting horses and rode into the night, Lyra finally explained. "Elric wasn't attacked by bandits," she said, her voice uncharacteristically serious. Elowen's grip on the reins tightened. "Then who?" Lyra lifted her hand, revealing an arcane eye hovering above her palm, a faintly glowing, transparent orb, its surface rippling like water. "I've been keeping an eye on him," she continued. "What attacked his group weren't men. They were Shadowborn." A chill crawled up Elowen's spine. Celine cursed under her breath. "Shadowborn?" Elowen whispered. Lyra nodded grimly. "Dark creatures, not of this world, not quite demons, not quite spirits, and the worst part?" She flicked her fingers and the eye shifted, revealing a blurred vision of Elric's wagon, still moving, but barely. "It's not over. They're still being hunted." Elowen's blood ran cold. "Then we don't have time to waste." Lyra grinned. "Exactly. Which means it's time for you to prove you were actually paying attention to my lessons." Elowen shot her a sharp look. "This isn't a test, Lyra. It's always a test." And with that they rode faster into the dark.
The ambush on the road."
They found Elric's convoy just before dawn, a battered caravan of wagons, torches flickering weakly as the horses trudged forward at an agonizingly slow pace. The moment they got close, Elowen felt it. A chilling presence, thick as smoke, curling in the air like an unseen predator. Something was waiting. Celine sensed it too. "We're not alone," she murmured, her hand drifting toward her daggers. Then a shadow moved. Not a natural one, something unnatural, shifting in the fog like liquid darkness. Elowen barely had time to react before the first one struck. A clawed limb, pure black void, twisted and wrong, lunged from the trees, aiming straight for the lead wagon. "Move!" Celine leapt from her horse, daggers flashing as she intercepted the creature mid-strike. Lyra muttered an incantation, and the air pulsed with arcane energy as glowing chains snapped into existence, of binding one of the creatures mid-air before it could reach them. "No, you don't," Lyra growled. Elowen dismounted in a single motion, planting her boots against the dirt as the shadows swarmed. 5. No, 6 of them. Too many for a normal skirmish. But she wasn't a normal fighter anymore. She breathed in, steadying her stance. "Focus," she whispered. Lyra had spent weeks drilling her in magic, sharpening her abilities, teaching her precision. Now it was time to use it. She raised her hand and spoke the words Lyra had taught her. "Vilis umbra, salutum." A shockwave of golden light erupted from her palm, banishing one of the creatures in an instant, its form shredding apart like smoke in the wind. Celine ducked under another, her blades flashing silver in the dim light, carving into the creatures with deadly precision. Lyra's voice rang out, sharp, commanding, as she unleashed another spell, a bolt of blue lightning tearing through the darkness. "Elowen, keep them away from the wagon." She turned, eyes locking on 2 creatures darting for the lead wagon, where Elric lay wounded. No. Power surged through her veins, raw and untamed, but sharpened by training. She thrust out her hands. A barrier of shimmering force slammed into place, repelling the creatures with an explosion of energy. One of them shrieked in frustration, its form twisting, then turned on her instead. Elowen braced herself. This was it, the real test. The shadows came for her, and this time she was ready. The aftermath. By the time the last Shadowborn dissolved into mist, the air was thick with exhaustion. Elowen's chest heaved, sweat clinging to her skin as she lowered her hands. Celine wiped her blades clean, muttering under her breath, while Lyra gave a satisfied nod. "Not bad, Princess," she said, amusement flickering in her eyes. "You might actually survive this war after all." Elowen was too tired to glare. Instead, she turned toward the wagon. Elric was inside, wounded but alive. That was all that mattered. She climbed in, heart still racing, and finally laid eyes on him. His once strong frame looked pale and frail, his face marred with cuts and bruises. "Elric!" His eyes fluttered open, and for a moment recognition flickered in them. "Elowen," he murmured, his voice hoarse. "Then you shouldn't have come." Her heart twisted, but she ignored the warning. She had made her choice. And whatever came next, they would face it together.